why are we doing this tournament format and how can we reduce fees for youth sports families? Well, the first question I think we need to answer is, how do we get here in the first place? Today, the tournament format places every family in some other state, from Thursday to Sunday. And the question is, why do we do this? Now, the things we lose in tournaments are our time. We lose a lot more money. It's way more expensive. And this is the reason organizers love tournaments, because they can put on an event. They get 80 teams paying $1,500 each. They make that $120,000. They can pay all their people and walk away with 50 grand in their pocket. It makes a ton of sense for event organizers, and they only have to shell out a certain amount of refunds or credits if there's bad weather or whatever. For you as a consumer, it doesn't make a lot of sense. You pay way more per game, sometimes up to $500 a game, depending on how many you get. And ultimately, most of your games are in pool play. You'll play, 8 pools of 4. And if you win your pool, you get to go into the bracket play on Sunday. A lot of times you don't, and so you're driving 2 states over just to play 4 games against kids that are no different than the kids in your local community. Here's an example of how stupid the tournament format is. When we were on our 16U team, and I take credit for this because I was participating in it just the same, but the problem was we couldn't find local teams to play with us on the weekends. Everyone was doing the tournament thing, which meant every weekend, every team was leaving our home state to go somewhere else. Well, we had a kid who was very good and was getting recruiting interest from D1 schools. The local D1 program in our state when I lived in Illinois was Illinois State. There's U of I, there's a bunch of others, but Illinois State was in our hometown, like 10 minutes down the road. They called me, they're like, hey, we want to go see this kid Nick. When's he pitching? And I was like, we're in Indiana this upcoming weekend, then we're in Ohio, then basically there was no way for a college team 10 minutes down the road to come see our team play without driving 5 hours themselves. Well, I guess it was 3.5 hours to Indianapolis. When our recruiting efforts, that was the big goal, is to help kids find colleges because they're all very good players. How dumb is it when both the player and the coach are driving out of town to see someone from their hometown? It was baffling. We just shook our heads. We're like, this is broken. This system is broken. And at the time, we couldn't figure out a way to get around it because we couldn't find other teams to play with us because, again, everyone was playing somewhere else. Now, if people start to push back, we can eliminate some of that stupidity. If at least 2 weekends out of the year, everyone in your community bands together and say, hey, we're going to do, some round robins on weekends, or we just want to play, Tuesday and Thursday games locally with teams in the area. That way we can get all of our games in and not travel for as many tournaments. That would make a ton of sense. It would save families thousands of dollars. It would keep people at home more often, give people a break, prevent so many marriages and financial pictures from being strained. It is really difficult to be gone 7 weeks a summer doing travel baseball, travel soccer, travel volleyball, whatever it is. What we need to get back to is local conferences, like what I did when I was a kid. You play a local team, you have fun, you pay a local umpire, you rent a municipal field, you go out for dinner at a local restaurant, you go get local ice cream, you go to the pool down the street afterwards. Do things in your community, build more community bonds, spend your money in your own local economy. That's what we need from youth sports. We don't need to be sending it out and putting more money in the pockets of these big event corporations and these venture capitalists who are buying out and creating these bigger and bigger events and complexes. They don't need more of your money, your local economy does. And so the big thing here is, because I know a lot of you know this is a problem, the problem is we don't do enough to organize and push back. If you want to see change as a youth sports parent, you have to organize your club, your organization, email them or go talk to them in person. Say, look, we want to travel less. We don't want to pay all these fees. How can we reduce and play more local baseball, volleyball, football, soccer, basketball, whatever? The nice thing that I'll tell you is, and I did this as an organization owner, we weren't making money on the tournament. We were making money having kids train in our academy. We would package everything together. So basically the tournament fees were just part of the package, but we weren't upcharging on it. We were just making our money because our kids would train our facility. So they would pay us for strength training and for lessons and for hitting groups and all that sort of stuff. The tournament fees, if they said, hey, we don't want to pay those tournament fees, we just want to stay local, we'd be like, great. We would just cut that out of their fee and our profit would still be there. It's just taking an expense that doesn't have any profit on top of it. That's typically how it's done. So all this is to say, if you're a parent, the end consumer here, the organization that you play for, they probably don't care that much. They probably just want you to pay your fees and have a good experience. If they make less revenue but the same amount of profit, they're probably going to be just as happy. So talk to them and organize and make your voice heard. Voice your discontent on social media about the system as a whole. Push back against it. And Talk to your organization about how you can have the experience that you want to have playing more local sports. You don't need to have 7 tournaments away. Maybe you only want to do 4, and that's a good start. And you want to play 3 weekends where you're going to play against local teams. All this stuff can happen if people start banding together. We can change this as a society if we organize. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and please share this video with someone who needs to hear it.